Hi hand readers, Jennifer here. Today's topic is children lines. Children lines are the tiny little lines which either ascend, descend, or cross the relationship lines, as you can see in this image here. Relationship lines are, as I shared last week, are also known as the affection lines or the union lines or the marriage lines, and these are the horizontal lines that cross the Mercury mount. Children lines are notoriously hard to identify, the reason being that there are several other vertical lines which do appear on Mercury mounts. However, for some hand readers who have the intuitive faculties and sensitivity and skill really of how to tune into and tap into children lines, they believe and they assert that one can tell sex of children, and even the period of the person's life when those children will or won't be born. Tradition has it that the line to look at for children lines is the topmost relationship line, and that the thicker and deeper the line, the more likely it'll be a masculine child, and the finer or wavier or curved the line, the more likely the child will be born a girl. And tradition also has it that if the line forks, that there's a possibility of twins. These lines might not be related to biological children. They could be any children or even animals that the person feels extremely nurturing towards. So anywhere really where there's a deep bond felt. And then some hand readers might even take it a step further and maintain that they can pick up if there have been miscarriages or terminations of pregnancies. So these are the traditional ideas associated with these lines, and you can find info about this anywhere really. Very easy to find information pertaining to the longer, the deeper, the more extended the line, the more likely they're boys, and the finer and the more curved, the more likely they are to be girls. In theory, when people don't have any children lines, it's supposed to indicate that the person has no interest in having children. Either that or they're not in childbearing years. Either they're too young or they're too old, or they just don't feel drawn to having kids at all. But like with all other lines on the hands, these lines can and do change, meaning circumstantially that the situation might differ and that at some point perhaps this person may or may not have children. And now let's have a look at children lines from the perspective of the 5-element system of how to interpret the hands. Have a look at this illustration and you'll see that the palm is divided into 4 element levels. We have earth at the bottom and water above that. These are the downward flowing or downward directed feminine elements, in other words the yin elements. And then above that we have the fire and air elements, which are the masculine and yang elements. Now within this context of the element levels of the hand, we could quite successfully, certainly for me it's been quite successful, I've quite often been accurate with this, and that is I see girls when the lines go downward and I see boys when the lines go upward. So upward is towards the more outward directed masculine yang elements, and lines falling downward, the opposite would apply, and the child would be, or the children would be daughters. I must point out though that any kind of predictive palmistry is at best very fine-honed intuitive perception. In other words, we don't really literally necessarily see the number of children or the sex of children in the hands. There's this huge intuitive component, and then perhaps at worst we could say that there's this aspect of simply guessing. So sometimes we get it right and other times we get it wrong. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on children lines. Have you had success with, as a reader, if you are a reader of hands, do you see children lines accurately? What is your opinion on that? Please feel free to share below. And a reminder that if you'd like a reading with me or if you'd like to study with me, please email me or find my info at the end of the video. I do teach wonderful online courses and I offer online readings based on photographs. Please help me to grow my channel by pressing the like button and subscribing. In next week's video I'm going to be speaking about short earth lines, that is a short lifeline. Looking forward to seeing you then.